Everyone, it's your host Saeed with Messy Growth. So today's guest has built a people function in multiple different Polish tech companies from absolute zero. And I mean zero. No HR, no onboarding documentations, no Notion, no nothing. Agata Lesniak is the head of people at Pajamas, a remote-first design and development agency with 30 plus people across 10 countries. But before that, she was at Live Chat company that I used to work at during their scale-up phase, call stack handling, relocations from Brazil to Spain, something I want to dig deeper into. And she even started in a medical clinic scheduling doctors and ordering equipment. Her LinkedIn bio, pretty interesting, is, well, different. Owner, doer, builder, tester, solver. It's always day one, better ship than perfect. That's not typical HR speak, something I want to dig deeper into. But here's what makes her story interesting. She joined Pajamas in January 2020, right before COVID turned the world remote. While everyone was trying to figure out how to go remote, she was already building it. She's done the full cycle, medical admin to tech recruitment, to employer branding, to building distributed teams across continents. She's handled the messy stuff, offboarding, relocations, building HR infrastructure when she's literally, well, there was nothing there. So today we're going to be talking about what founders get wrong about when they're building or what they actually need with HR, how to build a people function for a fully distributed team, and why ego last relationship matters when you're the first people hire. Agata, thank you so much for sitting down with me.
No, thank you for the invite. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. So I want to dig right into it. I think your bio, it's pretty interesting. I read it and I tried to kind of like parse it through an LLM, try to figure out what's that.
Yeah.
And it's like owner, doer, builder, tester, solver. It's always day one, better ship than perfect. I like that. That's not typical HR speak though. Like I said in my intro, where does that where does that mindset come from?
Well, that's a good question to start with. I would say I'm wondering what does it mean for you, like typical HR speak, because like it could vary from person to person, but also from the company to the company. I would say. I would say it's just my own individual set of thoughts, like some opinions, rules that I like really strongly believe in. I would say. And I've collected it on my way, through the entire work and life cycle, I would say. I call it an Agata's recipe, somehow. um, I would say that the mindset was forged by the environments that I was in. Like, firstly, for example, you don't get rewarded for just good intentions, only for the outcomes. This is something that I learned through the years. Second, like waiting for just perfect means missing the window in most cases, especially in the startup environment. And por último, like a little bit Spanish vibes here, since I'm learning Spanish right now pretty highly, I would say. Titles matter less, I would say.
Why?
Than actually what's actually worked, right? So I would say again, like instead of different combination of different thoughts, opinions, experiences. Yeah.
Why do you think titles matter less? I mean, I would think that for somebody who's kind of like climbing the ladder of let's just say career, for a lot of folks, they would take a pay cut, then they would take a cut in their title because it just means so much because a lot of their identity is tied to that title.
I would say that it's connected with actually what I also strongly believe in is that you can be the director, the head, or whatever you would call it, but by the end of the day, it could mean nothing if you don't have a voice. Like, for example, decision making or whatever, because let's say that the founder doesn't really allow you to have any decision, any voice, right? So I really met a lot of like HR, like executives and, some C-level people too, like VP of people, let's say. But by the end of the day, they said like, okay, so I am the VP, let's say, but I can't do nothing in the company because my founder, my manager, CEO of the company doesn't really allow me to do anything. So what does the VP means in that sense?
Yeah. What how good is that title if you don't have that autonomy?
Exactly. So I'm really stick to that kind of like an understanding that the titles matter less. And if I meet people that say that, starting the conversation like I'm the director, then I'm like a little bit, let's say, hesitating to maybe, dig into that kind of conversation more, I would say.
Yeah, and I think that you're hitting something, the nail on the head here. A lot of folks that resonate and kind of feel like that they're their title.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how else to explain it. They often tend to let that title get to their head.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of ways. Sure, you're a director and VP, and that's fantastic, but you're not
Mm-hmm.
a VIP. You're just a person at a company, a cog in a machine. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so you shouldn't let that get to your heart. So I understand your perspective on
Mm-hmm.
those
Yeah.
titles.
And then, for example, when you really stick with it and keep saying that this kind of like a title resonates with you, not judging, but let's say that you really like keep saying that to yourself for God knows how many years, then you can actually assume, like you cannot assume that you can be wrong, right? Because you are on the top of the ladder. I'm the top of the ladder, so actually you are not like developing yourself that much if you're
Yeah.
staying with it in your head.
I think a big con of having that position, or at least being at the top of the ladder, like you said, is that you're surrounded by people that might not, that would not be very open to kind of like giving you feedback that could be
Yeah,
very direct, for the most
exactly,
part.
because they also can be afraid of you, like,
Yeah.
oh my god, she's a director, well, I should be like seriously concrete right now, like to the point, right? Because she will judge me because of that. So yeah, definitely, that's a sailing, I would say, like a
Yeah.
very glass sailing.
100%. So I want to talk about Live Chat. It's one of the most successful SaaS companies here in Poland. You were there as employer branding and people specialist for almost 2 years. What's the difference between employer branding at a 50% startup versus a 200% scale up?
Mm. Yeah, I think it's all about the scale. I mean, this is the main difference. So, let's say 50 team members. The EB, so employer branding, is actually a strategical topic that isn't just at the starting point. So, for example, like you cannot separate at that moment of the company, you cannot really separate the EB from founders' behavior and persona. Like
Right.
really, like the founders usually are in the center. That's a great asset, but at the same time, it could be like a very big challenge for the HR to actually manage this kind of like a persona. So yeah, the other thing is that like really every hire that you make could potentially change the company's DNAs, like for real. And I'm not only talking about
Yeah.
like only positive successful stories, but actually also the bad hires. Like one bad hire in that kind of like a scale is really loud. Like it's really loud. It really
More
makes a
destructive.
difference.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then the other, like the final point I have in my mind when it comes to the scale is that, and that scale, people really know what company values mean in practice. Like it's not just, the titles on the wall or whatever,
Yeah.
in the hall in the office. But for real, like for example, that we are saying that we are moving fast as a company, right? And that's like more or less means really positive outcome. But moving fast also means mistakes happen, right? So not everything will be perfect on the way. And this is also the part of the values that people at that scale of the company really understand and they just know it by heart. You don't need campaigns at that scale. Really, you don't need
Yeah.
marketing campaigns. You just need the truth and consistency and just keep talking about it. So this is how I see it. Whereas 200 and 200 plus people, it's becoming more structural.
Yeah.
You are no longer shaping what the company is, I would say. You are shaping how reliably it shows up, right?
Mhm.
So there are some noises like, layers, processes,
Sure.
interpretations at that moment of the company. And you are really moving from who are we, like, asking that question also to the public, let's say, just to show the branding. But you move from that kind of like a moment to, are we still that? Because we are scaling the company, and especially if you're scaling the company fast,
Yeah.
that question is really relevant, I would say.
Fair enough. Going through your journey, so in January 2020, like we discussed, you joined Pajamas as head of
Yeah.
people. That's right before COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
A time that I think a lot of people remember. Did you know you were joining a remote first company,
Mm-hmm.
or did the world just go remote and you happened to be ready for it?
Actually, it just happened, like
A
for real.
luck.
Yeah, to be honest, I already at that time I made a decision that like long before COVID hits, that I'm gonna work remotely. Like I really realized that I wanted to do that because I wanted to keep traveling as well, and changing the environments, which for me is actually a boost of energy, like a new energy. When I'm changing the environment, it's like it's perfect. So for me, it was rather a next step, like a realization of my decision that I already made, like before the COVID. So
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared, obviously, like the rest
Yeah.
of the
I don't
world.
think
Like
anybody was for the most part. I
no,
think it was a
no,
shock overnight, right?
we've adapted. We've adapted.
Yeah.
We've adapted. We survived, and I think we are more strong today, to be honest.
Yeah. 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 I mean, like, just think about it. The fact that I've seen people that, or I know of people that the amount of commute they still have to do
Mm-hmm.
today to go to the
Mm-hmm.
office and come back, that's like an hour and a half, 2 hours of their day that are just
Yeah.
gone. So imagine if you were to take the 30 minutes from there and put that to your work. Let's just say
Mm-hmm.
for the fun of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just can squeeze a lot more productivity out of people, so to speak, than having wasting time going through
Yeah.
traffic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I do want to
No,
talk
no,
about something.
not the
Sorry.
case. I would say. Sorry. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just wanted to add that it's not the case. Pajamas, and fortunately, it's not the case. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to talk about the contrast between remote and an office. I still miss the remnants of the office. It was just like I think in sales it's a little bit different
Coffee
because
talks, right?
yeah, I mean it's just so high octane, high energy role, right? So Pajamas is 30 plus people across 10 plus
Yeah.
countries. Fully remote, fully distributed. What's harder about building a people function for a distributed team
Mhm.
versus everyone in the office?
Mm. Yeah, that could be the entirely separate conversation. Like
Yeah, I bet.
the topic is like it's so like I would say complex from every angle. I would say when let's say that when everyone's the team is just in one office, the most important thing is that the shared physical context fills the gap like automatically, I would say. In a distributed team, nothing fills the gap really unless you
Yeah.
design it. I mean, you cannot really rely on osmosis anymore. Like you're not
Yeah, you
like
can.
entering the office and you're not like breathing the same air, right? So in an office, people pick things up by watching mostly, for example. So how
Yeah, they
decisions are
mimic
made,
behavior. Yeah.
exactly how decisions are made, how feedback is given, what good work looks like when your manager is just basically shaking your hands like, hey, you're doing very good job, right? So it's not possible in a remote team, right? So
Yeah.
if it's not written, repeated, modeled intentionally, it just doesn't exist. And you need to really realize that to be able to be productive in a remote work, especially fully remote work, as we do in Pajamas. So a people function, just to sum up, I would say, has to turn the common sense into like explicit set of rules and habits. And this is like the work that is constantly being improved, and it's generally the ongoing basis when it comes
Yeah.
to that kind of understanding of where we are and how we operate in what kind of environment. So yeah, I would say that's it. Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about building teams, building HR functions at companies from scratch, what's the first thing you do when you join a company? I'm always curious, right? I mean, especially when you started up, there was no chat GPT to kind of like use as a visual
Yeah,
guide in any way, shape, or form. Like
missing
day
these
one,
times, to be honest. So
right.
no,
I truly
yeah.
believe that a lot of times, if you're parsing things through the LLM,
Hmm.
you become so heavily reliant on it that
Yeah.
your muscle memory of how to actually think and
Hmm.
process through things, it just deteriorates. I struggle with that.
Yeah.
I literally stopped using ChatGPT and Claude on
Hmm.
my workstation
Hmm.
because I kind of felt like that anything that was coming to me, I would just parse it through an LLM, and
Yeah.
that's not good. I'm not using. It's kind of like a muscle, right? It
Yeah.
atrophies after a certain time. So I think that
Exactly.
this is the second biggest experiment that we are doing on ourselves
Hmm.
in the 21st century. The first was social media,
Hmm.
and we give unfettered access to pretty much everybody, child, adult,
Yeah.
so on and so forth. And only now, I think like 15, 16 years later, are we realizing the actual cost of using social media, and it is asinine what we're doing to ourselves. Our attention spans are being deteriorated. But now it's the AI, and it's moving so fast, and I'm struggling.
Again, some pros and cons of it. But imagine, as you mentioned, like kids right now, or people that just entering the labor market, and they don't really have that muscle. They don't even know that they should have that kind of like a muscle that you described. So it's a totally different like environment for me. I would say that's a little bit sad, when I was like listening to some people in interviews, especially young people, that they should be like super creative. Like I'm usually use that as a part of my motivation, like a really great boost of motivation. You're speaking to young people just entering the labor market, and you were like that before, so it's even nice refreshment for you as a recruiter. And then you see that guys are literally not speaking with you. They are speaking with ChatGPT, and then you have them on Google Meet, and you are just listening to what actually ChatGPT produced for them. It's really a pity, really.
I mean, we are digging our own grave, right? So like you said, it's a lot of people that are entering the labor market, and they're just not going to even have that skill set to be able to think for our own selves and work out problems. Not every situation is going to be behind a screen. I mean, more and more they are. You are going to have to interact with people, and people need real-time feedback. And if those people that are now entering the market later on going to become managers, like how are you going to be able to have conversations with people, for performance, for, let's say, multitudes of different things that come up. And I'm scared. I'm scared to think about the future, the way where it's headed. I think, we as a species, we will be fine, but the direction in which we're headed, it's scary for the most part.
It is. Again, there are some pros behind that. I love the fact how AI is really removing all the manual stupid things, like repeated things that we just keep as a status quo sometimes.
Sure.
So I really love that, and the speed of the dynamic of changes that are happening. I love that, but again, this is the environment that I'm kind of breathe in. But that's actually, I mean, everything you mentioned, I strongly agree with. I would say.
I kind of like that boring stuff, the repetitive tasks. And I'm a huge believer of, like, how I used to study, and I sucked at studying back in the day. But one of my strengths were that I was very determined. So if I wouldn't understand something like mathematics, I will do the exercise with my hand.
The worst one. Oh my God. Oh.
Yeah. All right. But that you would just do the exercise with your hand again and again and again and again until you get it right, to the point that you have now fed your brain with the muscle memory of the fact that, hey, I know how to solve that equation. And I think of it this way, is that sure, it has, kicked out some mundane tasks, but those mundane tasks help polish your muscle to get you to be who you are. But like you said,
we are definitely digging in a totally different, layers.
It's a topic that I enjoy.
Me too. Indeed. I love it, and I love, like, hearing some totally different perspectives, doing something different, and how we actually share pretty much the same opinion about it. Like,
well, I guess the powers to be are gonna do what they're gonna do. I'm coming back to your question.
Day one. Yeah.
What's day one? What's the priority?
I would be a very general, because in that matter, because it really depends on the company, your role, and actually what is the main goal for your position, I would say, in the company. But for me, I would say that number one priority would be understand reality before trying to fix it. Why? Because, well, I've seen many managers, let's say, throughout my career, HR managers included, that they joined the company with already prepared, like, super detailed action plan. And I'm asking why, and how is it working, like, in practice? Like, does it make any sense? Because if you skip that kind of like, I would say, asking talking to people, like asking
Sure.
questions. This is what I do, like talking to people at first, like founders, managers, employees, trying to learn like how decisions really get made. So not what is in the organizational chart, but who exactly people go to when something breaks, when there is a problem really to solve,
Yeah.
where people feel friction, um, confusion, unfairness, like what everyone is avoiding to say out loud in the room. So if you skip this, like that part, asking people, talking to people in real, every action plan will be built on just assumptions. And,
Sure.
it doesn't make sense, right? So I would say that if the HR person like really ignores this, or I don't know, is afraid of asking not nice questions because,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
talking about problems is not nice, especially at the beginning of the
Uncomfortable.
collaboration, uncomfortable. So if you are afraid of asking not nice questions, you becomes decorative, decorative person. I usually call it that you are just like a nice monstera in the room,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I, g- I got a quick one for you. Do you think that is that true that HR people are disliked?
Yes, I would
Why?
say yes. It's because of the bunch of different stereotypes
Sure.
that are still in place, I would
Mm.
say. Like HR, when you're talking about the history of how the position itself grown, let's say, or how it was created, it was actually a controlling position, supposed to be a controller. So
Interesting.
because because it was connected with the payroll like very strongly and with the finance as well. So that person was actually in the center of the controlling system that back in the days the employers were seen, I would say, like the companies were seen as the like the big hand that makes the decision, like in a big brother
Yeah.
somehow, so I would say that it's because of that it's still going with us. I would say that's still a luggage that we are somehow bringing with us, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I also think that because, and it ties back to the questions we were discussing earlier,
Yeah.
is that before we were in Warsaw and Krakow and we were competing with people of Warsaw and Krakow, in
Yeah.
that city. And now as soon as we open that Pandora's box of, let's say, globally distributed teams, you all of
Mm-hmm.
a sudden are now competing with people from Brno, from Milan, from Paris, from Madrid,
Mm-hmm.
from India, from Kathmandu.
Yeah.
And because there is such a big talent pool, that
Mm-hmm.
means that for every opening there is, apart from just the controller side of things, that for every position there's a lot more talent now, and you cannot self-serve personalize for every person. It's just not
Yeah,
possible.
exactly.
It is a fantasy, and as much as I would like to do it, but you can't say no to 5,000 people for one position in a personalized
Exactly.
manner. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that adds to the disdain of like, God damn these people, like they have no humanity in them, and so on. So,
Yeah,
but it's just that it's
exactly.
it's a problem at scale. It's not,
Mm-hmm.
you can't solve that problem.
No, you
Not that
can't.
easy.
And still, HR people are seen like somehow like a magicians, I'm not
Yeah,
sure why it is like that, but it's still like you can really feel that, especially if you're joining the organization that has like never got an HR person or
oh
function in
yeah,
place before.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They're thought of it. I think this is the only role that touches people financially very hard, like in an
Yeah.
impactful way, and people are very opinionated about it. As you can
Yeah.
imagine, like people build opinions about things that they don't understand, and of course things that hurt them,
No,
that
not
affect
at
them personally.
all. We are actually the ones when it comes to the position itself that are somehow like should listen and should understand people in all situations, right? And then
Yeah,
the other people that don't need to be like that, just HR, right? So
yeah,
so this is another
yeah,
layer of that,
100%.
I would say.
Um, Talking about that, a lot of founders, they treat HR as we'll hire someone when we're big enough to need it. You've been the first person to hire multiple different companies. What do
Yeah.
founders get wrong about when they actually need someone in this particular role?
Hmm. Simple. They wait until problems are visible, not when they are forming. And then they're, just start hiring, first HR in the company, like for real. So you really keep listening to founders saying, we have performance issues. The hiring feels chaotic. People are unhappy. Like everything is happening basically in the company. There is like the worst nightmare, let's say.
Yeah.
So in that moment, the damage is already baked in. And
Yeah.
our role, let's say, as an HR person is just to be plainly reactive. So I actually used to say that we are cleaning ladies at that kind of like a moment because we cannot do nothing, especially
Cleanup crew. Yeah.
and especially, at the beginning of such collaboration, you're just cleaning the
Yeah.
mess.
Yeah.
HR can't really reverse the years of decisions, especially business decisions, because I believe
Right.
founders make such decisions in most cases. So you cannot like reverse years of decision. It's just, I don't know, a quarter or a
Yeah.
month. It's just impossible. So
Yeah.
the earlier HR joins, the cheaper and cleaner the work is for
Yeah.
both the people, the teammates, and also for the company, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. You mentioned something interesting on your profile, which is a candidate creation or a candidate persona creation. You did that at Call Stack. Could you walk me through that? How do you actually build a candidate persona, and does it actually help you hire better people?
Amen. Yeah. So the first important thing you should really start at the beginning of thinking about any candidate's persona is that you are not gonna use it for any marketing reasons. Like you're not gonna like necessarily promote it in a sense that you're gonna talk about it like externally. At first, you should really think about and take a look around what kind of people you have in the company, because you can be like the most colorful candidate persona in the world, but it
Yeah.
wouldn't be necessarily connected with what you have on board. And when it comes to people, like some profiles, but also what kind of people do you actually need. So I would say that here I would answer that question with actually what should not be like doing. I would say we should not be doing when it comes to candidate persona. So we shouldn't really do that much of benchmarking. So taking a look at what other companies are doing
Yeah.
within the same, competitors market we are in. But actually, firstly, take a look at what we have in the company, what kind of people we have, what are the challenges, opportunities, but also what are the struggles, and how much exactly people are fighting with that. And that should be the starting point of what is the profile that we are seeking for, no matter what is the position. So firstly, starting with some sort of a soft skills profile, I would say, and then you are going just
Yeah. You just work your way
more
through.
deeply. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking about hiring, tech hiring is brutal right now. If you look a couple of months ago, a few months
Yeah.
ago, layoffs, hiring freezes. I think blue collar jobs got hurt, especially the tech sector got hurt massively, specifically due to
True.
AI, right? So candidates are ghosting interviews. How has your approach to recruitment changed in the last 2 years
Mhm.
versus say 2020, 2021, when everybody was hiring like crazy, got started COVID, tech companies were like, yeah, we need
Yeah.
more people.
Mm. Actually, recruiters are ghosting interviews too, just
Oh,
wanted to add
oh really? Never
Yeah,
happened.
obviously. I usually say that it's a two-way street, and I would say that we are really, both of us, both the employees, candidates, and recruiters are really building the market, not only, employees. So yeah, there are some bad mistakes to be not forgive about, I would say. So
Yeah.
yeah. When it comes to hiring, 2021, hiring optimized for speed and upside. So if you didn't move fast, you lost candidates at that moment. Whereas today's hiring optimizes for downside protection, like fewer stages that cost less, uh, but they are more sharper, I would say. So we
Interview
close
stages?
fewer. Yeah, so we actually close fewer roles in general, but for example, uh, I mean, again, just my opinions, but with much more higher confidence.
Yeah, velocities.
So yeah, and as recruiters, for example, we don't really sell. I mean, I have never sold in that way, but I know that recruiters do. Like we really sell today, like credibility and stability more of the company rather than, I don't know, benefits
Yeah.
or even at some point even the salary as well. Like there are just things that matter more right now. Like to get more quality candidates, you should really like change the way you speak about the company. So this is how I see it. So the market itself has shifted. Um, overall supply of high fit candidates is also lower.
Yeah.
In
Fair
many
enough.
tech roles now, this is another I would say this cart issue that we had because of all those things that happen economically and globally. And I would say that recruiters should really bear that in mind, that
Yeah.
the market layoffs were mostly about the lower or mid performance, not like top performance, because that's how actually companies really do want to survive, like to keep just best people without any doubts. So this is really tricky time, I would say, right now.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I want to ask you a very quick one. Are you against or for salary information on a job post?
I'm definitely for. But what I wanted to say, it's a little HR insight to maybe potential candidates that will listen to our interview, because they might probably not see it, but being in the back office, so on a backstage in the company,
Sure.
as I do, let's say, um, it's extremely difficult to actually show the salary ranges for the company that operates globally, like for real. It's really difficult, especially for the small company. When we have, for example, at Pajamas, the salary ranges that are standardized by being in what country you are actually operate in. So it's different because of the cost of living are different. So it's not like that I'm
Yeah.
just plainly adding the salary ranges, let's say from 6 up to 10. It's not doable. So I'm
Yes.
generally for that, totally, to be as much transparent as possible, to have people that are aware of what they are joining, what kind of organization they are joining, like fully agree with that. But it's just not that quick and simple for the
Yeah.
backstage, so
Yeah.
operations to actually do that.
Yeah. Maybe I'm too idealistic and I don't understand this well enough. But shouldn't everybody get paid equally? Doesn't matter where they're working from. Like, why does your zip code determine how much you make? Like, my work is
Mm-hmm.
not lesser than your work, and you're in a,
Mm-hmm.
let's say, a different city or a different country. And sure, I
Mm-hmm.
decided to live in Warsaw. Shit, I could go to Delhi tomorrow and live there. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a personal
Yeah.
preference. So if it's the same level of work, why should I get paid 100K and
Mm-hmm.
you get paid 30K? You know what I mean? Like, why the
Mm-hmm.
discrepancy, disparity?
No. Yeah, I hear you. And to be honest, we have a lot of situations like that, a lot of questions from our employees, contractors about that, and here in Pajamas. So um, this is actually a very good starting point to have a deeper discussion. What does it mean to be equally paid?
Sure.
Depending on the locations, but what does it mean to be equally fair towards all the people that we have as a company? So that was actually the first aspect with which we started the salary calculator, so to speak, project. How to actually structure that? What kind of ingredients we should put into the calculator to get us the results that we expect and we can actually provide to people. So it's really a deep topic. I see it like the quality for me, like being equally paid, is actually strongly connected with the location that I'm in because of the cost of living, because they are different. They vary from one place to another. So it's not necessarily connected just with the position, with the seniority, but also with the location and the lifestyle that I have. So it's a little bit
Yeah.
different perspective in that, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. I do want to come back to something, I said in my intro, which is you mentioned ego last approach. What does
Mm-hmm.
ego last approach and ego last leadership look like in practice?
Mm-hmm. Mm. I would say that for me, it's really important to stay as much objective and as much team oriented as possible. I, started a couple of years to be a manager. I also had my own team here in Pajamas and just hiring another recruiter to join us. Um, and for me, the most important thing is to keep the team and the results of the team as your main one. So we are not talking about, just winning individually. We are talking about winning as a team. And for me, ego last approach is actually, okay, I could have some strong opinions, actually happening pretty usual, I would say in my case. Um, but it's not like winning the discussion, winning, like showing that as a kind of like a winning the battle, just myself and my ego
Yeah.
in every discussion, but actually thinking about the people around you, especially your team. So for me, being a servant leader, because it's connected with it, is like the top priority. And I'm usually the manager that is very down to earth. I'm very hands-on kind of like a manager. I'm very close to the team that I have. And I'm really happy to actually know that team actually speak the same about me and my work. And this is like the biggest, I would say that the biggest prize of this kind of like an approach, like a egoless approach, that I'm really doing that, say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fair enough. I think a lot more people need that. It's just to kind of like check your ego at the door when you're talking to
Yeah.
people.
Yeah,
Because I
just
think
leaving that in a wardrobe or whatever, and like, just go and do your work. Yeah.
you earn
Good.
trust a lot faster that way. I
Yeah.
want to talk about something, which is you've done onboarding and offboarding at multiple different companies. Not a
Yeah.
lot of people talk about offboarding. Like, what's the
Mm.
right way to let someone go or handle someone
Mm.
leaving?
Mhm.
What do most companies get wrong about that?
Yeah. Yeah, because it's hard. I mean, it used to be hard, or it's still hard for some people because well, it's connected with some sort of a goodbye, right? So like finishing some sort of a period of your life. So I think that's why it's hard. I have a set of rules. I'm using also some sort of a things that, in my opinion, works well, no matter in what position you are. So, firstly, be transparent, even sometimes like radically transparent and timely about the decisions that you wanted to make with people that, especially if you are the one that is firing the team. Don't drag it out, like, or delay it, because delays create really the anxiety and rumors. Like team really feel
That's
and
for sure.
see what's happening. So it's really interacted with how then later the team could see you as a manager or just an employee. Be clear about the reason, like without any unnecessary euphemism, like we are very sorry or whatever. Like keep it
Yeah,
really
just be
simple.
straight. These are adults.
Exactly, and be straight. Like also do the exit interview, but only if your organization is ready and you think is ready to hear sometimes brutal and negative opinions. Because usually the exit interview, even though we can somehow like manage to be in a very good relationships, which is amazing. That's bravo. That's in a perfect scenario. But there are some situations when we sometimes, especially employees, had this kind of like a feeling of I don't know, be treated unfair or whatever. There are some strong feelings about it. So if your companies, especially founders and managers that you're reporting to, are not ready to hear sometimes really negative, brutal, honest opinions, then don't do the exit interview
Yeah.
because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Gives people time to process all the information, that's for sure. Prepare the handoff of knowledge, but generally try to be as fast as possible with it, to not prolong it, because it's just gonna be worse
Yeah,
both
toxic.
for
It's gonna become
you,
worse and worse.
exactly, for you and for the people. So and also, the fact is nobody is really productive during the notice period as much as it was during the collaboration. Let's say it loud. So I think it's also not good for business to keep those people too much in the company, if I may say.
Yeah, fair enough. Is there a very underrated HR practice that you truly believe in?
Yeah, yeah. It really is speaking from my experience here. Investing in managers. not just employees. Especially in smaller companies or startups. I'm really speaking from my own experience. Like companies often focus HR energy, like people development
Yeah.
strategies, uh, just focusing on employee side of things, not like managers. Usually with managers is like
Wrong.
congratulations, you got the promotion and now
Yeah.
go and lead
Just do whatever you think.
and you are on your own. Exactly.
Yeah.
The decision is official. You're just taking that for granted that you're a manager now, and what's next. So I would say it's really important because it's a little bit contradictional because the weak management is actually the one of the top reasons people leave the company. So why founders, why CEOs, or any decision makers regarding the budget, why they are not investing in managers if it's one of the top reasons people leave the company actually. So that's a little I would say question without any good answer, I would say, for now.
Yeah, fair enough. I do want to ask one question before we head into our rapid fire round. Agata, if someone's is listening to this and who wants your career moving from zero HR experience to head of people at a remote first company, I know it is very enticing for a lot of people to be able to want to do that.
Yeah.
What's the one thing you tell them that nobody told you when you started out? Kind of like a blueprint, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very good question, actually, to somehow, summarize HR function talk and discussion, especially if you're like over a decade for me, being over a decade in that kind of like a position. The first thing I would love to hear when I got started is placing you in the center, like your consistency, your creativity, your drive, openness to feedback, instead of just listening to best managers of the year in the company or self-proclaimed experts from LinkedIn. Like listen to you, to actually your talents, trust your talents. That will really guide you. Do more trying and experimenting instead of thinking and planning.
Yeah.
Um, because you are just learning quicker when you are making mistakes,
Yeah.
like in practice, not in your
Yeah.
head. So
Yeah.
you really need to be and to feel more comfortable to actually learn something.
Yeah.
Be good to yourself and feel good with the decisions at your work, because Paulo Coelho here a bit, but no amount of money is worth the stress and the long-term impact it has on your body. Like really, no amount of money in the world. So you really should be treated yourself good and asking yourself whether you feel good with actually what you're doing in the company at work.
Yeah.
And one last thing, from me personally, I see it as a big trait of myself. I'm connecting with people really quickly, no matter what's the environment, like truly. And
Mhm.
for me, in my opinion, the best HR professionals are the ones with huge networks. So really go meet people offline, like to bond like a true relationship that matter, that lasts. Not just from your industry or your usual social circles, let's say, because it will eventually pay off one day. Like really, trust me. And
Yeah.
for me, I'm still, when it comes to like the best decisions I made in my professional life are connected with people that I met back in the days when it comes to childhood studies, but also the previous workplaces. So keep those relationships that matter for you and use them. That's the most important thing for the
Yeah.
HR.
I think I resonate so much about the fact that no amount of money is can warrant the amount of stress you can have on your body. Because the thing about
Yeah.
the stress and your body taking it is you don't realize it right away. It
Yeah.
takes it takes years before cracks start to show up, and by that time the damages are reversible. You
Yeah, it's
can
already
never
too late.
it
It's usually already too late. And again, coming back to my expression of like being the HR cleaning lady. So actually, you are cleaning yourself with that kind of like a moments. Unfortunately, not like being preventive, but mostly reactive. Yeah.
absolutely cool. Um, Rapid fire round. So I got the very quick questions, very quick answers. Best advice you've ever received, business or personal?
Um, like I would say it's hard to just think about one, but I would say that um trust your guts, trust your talent, and just go, just do the thing, and not doing any research, not taking a look at your influencers that you're like obviously like following much more on a daily basis than yourself. So just trust yourself and go do that thing, and no matter what will be the outcome, because you're gonna either learn uh, um, or eventually just grow because of that, even if you're gonna like just fail. So one way or another, it will be just some positive outcomes out of it.
Fair enough. Just go out and do it. I think a lot of people still live in their head and let the fear
Yeah,
dictate a lot of their life. I truly believe
yeah,
that if there's something you believe in, at least the least you can do to you can do for yourself is just go out and do it for the
yeah,
most part.
exactly. And then those people that are like kept saying, even this interview is a good example for me. Like you kept saying to yourself that you're not ready yet. You are not the person that people will really hear, or they somehow can treat you as a person that you can learn from,
Yeah.
which is not true. And all the managers that keep saying that to yourself, that you're not gonna do that, actually they are more afraid of that you can do that than you
Yeah.
yourself. So yeah,
Yeah. I think unlocking that fear out of your body and mind, it's probably one of the best things you can do for yourself. But it is such a tough thing to do.
yeah,
If everybody could do it, then we wouldn't have this problem to begin.
yeah,
This is
yeah,
really cool.
exactly.
Advice you ignored or wish you had listened to.
um I would say that um don't be the perfectionist. It was a struggle for me, but it was a struggle because of the background that I generally have. I'm student of administration and law. I'm a lawyer generally, and it's like it's so
I
at
get the
some
sense.
at some moments it's like you're just thinking about like revealing truth and the only truth that it is in any situation. But sometimes, to be honest, it doesn't really matter. You just ship, you just deliver, even something that is not like the perfect solution, but it's just more important to ship, to deliver, to show something, than to think about the perfect solution
Yeah.
that no most cases just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So
Owner,
yeah,
doer, builder, tester, solver. It's always day one,
exactly.
right? Better ship than
Yeah,
perfect. It's imprinted in my head because I was reading it. I was sharing it with my wife too. It's really
yeah.
interesting.
It's
Uh,
like a song that you can really keep repeating to
it's a
yourself
tattoo in the
somehow.
making.
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
exactly.
what would you tell your younger self, say 7 to 10 years ago?
Mhm. Um, don't really do the studies, to be honest. Like really, for
Really?
real. Yeah, for real.
What about the
Um,
parties?
but you can have parties with any social circle, not only, on the university, but I'm more speaking, obviously, party was a nice part of being a student, obviously still remember a lot, um, but I'm more saying to actually just focusing on the education itself rather than the practice. So there is a still like a post-communist kind of like an understanding in Poland, especially, and just generally on the east side of Europe, that people should go to university even if they don't have any idea of
Cultural.
what they are doing or what they
Yeah.
want to do after the studies, but you should go just to
Yeah.
prove that you are not that kind of like a worker from the communist time anymore, right? That you
Yeah.
can handle the university, the studies. And in my opinions, it's actually when you start working, it should be the opposite. So you should start work and then think about what kind of education do you want to get
Yeah.
because of the work that you are doing to make it useful. So
Fair enough.
yeah,
Yeah. A piece of paper I don't think goes as far as it
yeah,
did 30
exactly.
years or 20 years ago
No,
for
I
sure.
really, if I might be like brutally honest, I'm when I'm screening the CVs, for example, I really don't give a shit about the education, like for real. It's nice to have, but
Uh,
like for me, it just doesn't matter. For
uh,
me, what matters the most is what kind of struggles um did you enter during your work cycle. How did you actually fight with it? How did you win those kind of like challenges, struggles for your own? What kind of methods did you use, and what is your
yeah. How did you
practice
get out of those
actually?
situations? Yeah, yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. Absolutely. No, this is super helpful. One ongoing challenge in your current work that keeps you up at night.
Um, Actually, work not really keeping me at night anymore.
Really?
Um,
Okay, cool. So you have
uh,
conquered the demon, so to speak.
exactly. Kind of like yeah. I got to understand what was my demon, I would say. And I'm really in that kind of like a more peaceful place right now. But I would say that the volume, so the amount of different multi-contextual work that I'm handling usually when it comes to the small companies as we are at Pajamas still. So yeah, like the volume, the amount of things that are from totally different scopes, I would say sometimes. Yeah.
So, your favorite restaurant in or a spot in Poland?
Oh my God, and I'm a crazy foodie. Like I can talk about
So
food
you'll give the
for
perfect
the majority
recommendation
of the
then.
day. It's extremely impossible for me. I would go for Warsaw for sure, Bakalarska Street, and some of the Asian restaurants. You pick just one of them, and you will be like super satisfied for the rest of the day. Like, trust me.
Is there one that is your favorite? If you had to pick one?
No, really. For me, for example, every day when I have different tastes, just craving for something different, then I'm choosing the different restaurants. So for me, it's not about the one. I generally like Asian cuisine, if I may say.
Have you ever had a hot pot?
Oh yes,
Yeah,
it's
I think
amazing. My God.
me and we took the kids to a hot pot last week, in one of those Asian restaurants.
Hmm.
And holy cow, I never had a hot pot before.
Yeah,
Really
it's
interesting, and it was
amazing.
like a all you can eat, like all
Yeah,
you knock yourself out. A
yeah.
really interesting concept. Really
And that's
enjoyed it.
amazing. Like also, Korean barbecue grill, it's also amazing. Pretty
Yeah,
much the concept is pretty much similar. But
100%.
what I love about those kind of like all you can cook and then eat kind of like a
Yeah,
concept is that you really need to have some people to actually be able to enter that kind of like amount of food.
yeah, you're not
So
gonna
you
go
have people.
alone.
Exactly. So you usually have people around you. You're just sitting in the circle on the table, and then you're everybody is like just cooking. So you need to cook and then later to eat. So this kind of like a shared effort
Yes.
is extremely helpful. For example, to avoid like unnecessary small talks or whatever. You just okay,
Yeah.
you have your own thing to
Your
grill. I have
task.
my others. Do
Yeah,
the task, and then we are like
yeah,
just
yeah.
speaking out of nothing. So I
There.
love that concept. Yeah.
Yeah. There's something true. There is something in there that helps our caveman brain kind of activate with food around a
Yeah.
campfire. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I fully
exactly.
understand that.
Like all those kind of like
Yeah.
good memories, in my opinion, like and from my experience, like all good memories that I have are really connected with uh food sharing, like
Yeah.
for real,
Food and
like
alcohol.
restaurants, food, alcohol, maybe not in all cases, I would say. Are the good solutions for sure. I'm
Mm.
not a big fan of like promoting alcohol in general, but when it comes to the food itself, yes, that's the way how you can enter
Yeah.
like the relationship, in my opinion.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So last question on the rapid fire round. One tool that you swear by and cannot live without.
Oops. Um, I would say that it's not materialistic, I would say, but generally sport. I when I had some like days of sickness or whatever, just feeling not great when it comes to physical part of me. I'm not in the best mood. I just need to do some training, some gym. I play tennis, play paddle. I really like to do hiking. Actually, generally some sports with rackets are the ones that I really love. So I would say that the physical training, like some sort of a movement sport, is something I cannot really live without, because gonna to be crazy if not, like, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Agata, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much. You've been very generous with answers, and of course giving your time, and really pleasant to talk to over LinkedIn as
Yeah.
well. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Where can listeners find you?
And LinkedIn, hit me up with any, direct message, wherever, with anything, any random questions are, more than welcome. Really will be happy, to help with anything, because this is really the time of my life, like the moment of my life when I wanted to really share what I actually was doing till now, just to have some sort of a value out of it as well. So it will be amazing. Feel free to contact me. And thanks for having me. It was a very nice experience, like a
No, thank
nice
you.
nice
Yeah.
way to actually start the Friday. So
Yeah.
thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, perfect. I really appreciate it. Is there an upcoming project, launch, talk, or event that you're excited about?
I'm generally looking forward to like some web summit that is in Lisbon. It's still a long way to go, because it's gonna happen in November. But usually there are some like people business panels and talks that are, for me, usually extremely valuable. So
Perfect.
maybe it will be possible to even attend the conference. We'll see, but that's the
Never know.
summit, the conference that I really enjoy and really recommend it.
Pastel de nata waits for you if you go to Lisbon.
Yeah, that's for sure. I love them. My God, perfect.
Agata, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming
Thank you.
on. Folks, if you got value out of this, share it with someone who needs to hear it. I'll see you next week. Ciao.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.